What's up, guys? How y'all doing? It's me, Johnny, and welcome to a massive update on the gallery. And your boy has deposited again. It's been a long time since I've actually gone ahead and deposited a significant amount, but I personally honestly look at Sorare right now and I'm at the happiest I've ever been with my gallery. And as it is with big teams, like let's say Liverpool win the league, at that point as a fan, you think, you know what, to stay on top, you need to keep reinvesting, keep reinventing your squads. And that's basically what I'm trying to do right now. It's not like I'm saying I'm on top in terms of like winning rewards. We all know I haven't won anything massive yet, but hopefully these new purchases can take me to that next level. I am so excited to showcase them to you. So let me start off straight away on Sorare data. Of course, the one and only place you need to be in order to win rewards. Yes, at least 80% of the users that are winning rewards on Sorare, I believe, are using Sorare data. So make sure to use it. Sign up. Link in the description down below. It's the best thing you can do in order to be successful on the platform. And use the code Johnny if you do sign up. That would be very helpful. I'll be very thankful for it. But let's dive in. Who did I get? Well, my friends, as you know, I'm a big fan of Feyenoord Rotterdam, and I think they are going to be incredible next season. Now, I'm aware that Kökçü has left. I am aware that Szymanski is looking like he's not going to return to Feyenoord either, but certain players have come into the squad and have popped up throughout the season that are looking incredible, especially with Mats Wifa, his rise in the last season, and now Zaruki joining the club as well. So Hartman is a left back that throughout the season earned his spot. You can see down here, he didn't necessarily get the play time, was subbed in and subbed off a couple of times. I believe he was basically fighting for that spot against Pedersen and Marcus Lopez. So now he has basically established himself, has also taken part in the Under-21 Netherlands games, and I think he has taken a couple of set pieces, if I'm not mistaken. He hasn't. Oh, he has free kicks. He has taken a free kick, which kind of showcases me there is a little bit of a chance that he might be the one to take set pieces at Feyenoord, because obviously Kökçü has left and Szymanski is probably not coming back as well. Those are the priority set piece takers. And with Hartman being a left back and not necessarily the tallest, that could put him into a really good spot to become the set piece taker of the squad. But as you guys know, I've had his card for quite some time. I have his rare, but if you can see right here, something blue popped up. Well, guys, I have gone ahead and signed up the Hartman Super Rare. Let me show you guys the price graph. I know some people care about this stuff. I really couldn't care less. His last sale was like at, what is it? 0.8 ETH. I basically paid 0.835 because for my gallery right now, I am only looking to strengthen upon what I have already. I am basically just constantly on my phone making up lists. I have like a power ranking of my squad and all the players I have in terms of which ones I believe are going to be strongest next season, which one are probably going to be the weakest ones. And a lot of players that I have, I obviously didn't include because they are just collection pieces as well. So I'm really trying to analyze what I have in my gallery in the best way possible and making the most educated decisions. And that is something I've done with Hartman. Obviously, previously I could have gotten him for a lot less towards the end of the season. You can clearly see that we are paying a lot more. But if you look at his rare price as well, like I bought him at 0.076. He has already been sold for 0.162, which already shows a big rise, which is basically nearly the price that people paid for his super rare back in the day. And it's not that far away, to be honest with you. But as things stand, as I said, I want to improve upon what I have. And I already have one super rare from Feyenoord, as you guys know. And that is the main man himself, Santiago Jimenez, under 23, and obviously Quilinci Hartman is an under 23 as well. So if I wanted to, I could put those guys into under 23 rare pro, have those two super rares from Feyenoord, and see how things go, especially on weeks where I don't feel comfortable about putting out the entire Feyenoord stack into one specific division. That could be something I can do to go ahead and get some cohesion in between two players in that rare pro lineup. So very happy with Quilinci Hartman and Santiago Jimenez's super rares being a part of the gallery right now. He has recently been selling for like 1.1. I think I got him for a little bit cheaper. I got him for 1 point. I mean, 1 ETH basically at that time. And his floor is quite high, as people fully expect him to be just ridiculously good as he has been previously. So now that I have Kenichi Hartmann and Santiago Jimenez, I was sat there and I was analyzing my gallery, and I realized that I was kind of lacking in certain positions. Like, I have this list on my phone. I'm just going to quickly read through it for you guys as well. I was looking at my midfielders and I was realizing I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rare, actually 4 rare midfielders that I will feel very comfortable with in putting into lineups. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 super rare midfielders that I feel comfortable with. And I realized that I don't have as much depth in midfield in terms of rare still. So I decided, you know what, let me just go ahead and look through a couple of these players. Let me see which ones are doing well. Let me make an educated decision on what would be perfect for my gallery. And then I realized, you know what, there is one man. There is one man that puts up Kimmich-like numbers, playing for a team like Twente last season. Zaruki, look at those scores. Now, obviously, as a rare, you want midfielders that get these darker green scores many, many times. But as a super rare, this card would be incredible because he has only scored below 47, that number right there, like once in the past, I don't know what it is, like 80 game weeks. That is incredible consistency. That gives you the ability to go ahead and not ruin lineups whenever he plays for you. And if he hits that 60 range and even above the 60 range, as he has done many, many times, you are looking at someone that will push your lineup forwards. And obviously, he was doing that at Twente, who are known to be good defensively. And he's a CDM/center mid type player, but also very technical. And I honestly believe that Zaruki could be doing extremely well at Feyenoord. So I decided, you know what? Let's freaking do this. I have gone ahead and got myself Zaruki's super rare. And I was trying to get the one off of Katoze, who's put him up at like 1.74 ETH. And I bid up to like 1.6 ETH. And he just didn't budge. He just didn't want to let it go, despite the fact that recently his sales have been at around what? 1.375, let's say 1.4, 1.5. Sounds reasonable, right? But he just didn't want to budge at all. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do a deal with you. Let me look for other people. And as I've looked for other people to do a deal with, I came across a merchandiser. And honestly, what an absolute legend. He was interested in my Hilgers, right? He was interested in my Hilgers. And he said, you know what? If you want to, we can go ahead and include Hilgers in a deal. So we said, I personally had offers of 0.6, 0.7, and even up to like 0.8 for Hilgers through Discord messages. And that's basically where I valued him. I said like 0.8 is the last offer I got for him. I said no to it because obviously I'm not necessarily looking to move on my players off my gallery. But if it makes sense, like this trade right here, I thought, you know what? At that point, trading a Twente player where I only have one player for a midfielder from Feyenoord, a super rare item with 26.5% bonus, I said it just makes too much sense because this guy did incredible at Twente. And if he comes across to the strongest team in the division, surely his scores don't get worse, right? That's what you would think. And I've watched a lot of Zaruki before. And funnily enough, Zaruki is the first ever reward that I had in my gallery. So I was like, you know what? Maybe it's a sign. Because if we scroll down right here, you can see one of my actual first ever reward is a Zaruki Limited. And now I've gotten myself his super rare. So it's coming full circle. And I'm very happy about the fact that I've brought him into the squad. And if you go into my players right here and we type in Feyenoord, right, you'll be able to see that we have an amazing stacking opportunity right here. In Challenger Rare Pro or All-Star Rare Pro, I now have the ability to put in Bailo, put in Kenichi Hartmann, and put in Zaruki. I can also use and probably will utilize Santiago Jimenez as well. Or I can just, you know what, say, I don't want to use Jimenez this time around. Let me just go ahead and use Bailo, Hartmann, Zaruki, and someone else I want to put at striker alongside Hansko and Vifa. Like, I have some incredible Feyenoord pieces here that I'm extremely happy with. I'm probably going to keep this Hartmann just for the sake of my collection. But yeah, I'm extremely happy with how things have turned out right here. This just looks incredible. I'm so happy that I was able to get players from Feyenoord. I wasn't even a Feyenoord supporter, but since I got cooked into my gallery, I watched a lot of their games for like a year and a half now, and it's been such an enjoyable experience. The fans are absolutely incredible, and that's, again, one part of Sorare that might be like underrated. I really love watching the games and getting a connection to the club. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a full-on supporter, but at the same time, I'm not against like buying a Feyenoord shirt now. Like, I'm not against it. Does that make me a supporter? I guess it could, because I'm putting enough money into the game to get their players. So I'm really excited about this Feyenoord stacking opportunity. And honestly, I'm also thinking in certain game weeks where Feyenoord have an insanely favorable matchup, I might pop them into all-star super rare. Like, I have a super rare goalkeeper in Zidane. I can put in Kilinci Hartmann, Zaruki, and Jimenez. And then one of my super rares that I feel extremely comfortable with can go into the lineup too, because I have plenty of good super rares, as you guys know. Let's dive in here and let's take a look at them. Florentin, an extremely consistent performer. Getson Fernandes, who is absolutely on fire at Besiktas, as we can tell by his L5 and L6, L15 as well. Cenk could possibly go in there, but I probably would like to have a midfielder slash defender option. I don't want to be too decisive heavy. Mendy, depending on where he goes, which seems to be Bordeaux. If he goes to Bordeaux, oh my God, that's going to be amazing. Second division in France still, and he will be dominating, I reckon, and trying to get promotion. And we have Sven Mynans. We have so many players in here that I would love to pop in. And I'm realizing at this point, I'm slowly getting to a stage where I also would like to have an under 23 super rare goalkeeper at some point. That's definitely something I want to try and work towards throughout the season. I want to get myself super rare goalkeepers. I want to get myself multiple under 23 super rare so that the season after that, I can basically play in under 23 super rare comfortably and still have enough super rares for the other divisions. It's going to be a long process. It's going to take some time to get there. But again, guys, I have never felt this confident with my gallery. I got to be completely honest. The talk that we had on the Sorare Data podcast, again, was really nice. And I really enjoyed talking to the guys. It's not like I want to go ahead and ruin everyone's dreams and plans when it comes to the summer period. If you can play it, if you feel comfortable with it, so be it. That's great. But one thing that was extremely underrated and something that I completely failed to mention in that video was the fact that through letting go of SO5 throughout the summer, I was capable of not thinking game week to game week, right? When you play SO5, it goes quite quickly. You go from one game week to the next, and in the middle of it, you try to sort out your team for the next one and try to get pieces that you might tell yourself that you're getting for longevity, but you at the end of the day are getting them for one game week only. And I feel like going away from that strategy and being able to take a step back and reinvest in a way where I felt extremely comfortable with the plan that I had set and follow that plan all the way through and see it unfold as the European season comes across, instead of going game week to game week and not knowing what to do. I feel like that's something that I completely failed to mention in that video. So right now, I am ready. Like, I am fully ready for whatever's to come. If we go into game week 369, I think we can go and check out my lineups here. And obviously now, since we have the, actually, we can leave that one there. Is there anyone in here that I don't have anymore? I don't think there is anyone in here that I don't have. But yeah, like here, we can obviously go and take out Gabriel Florentin, pop in Ramis Zaruki, save that. Let me just see what that lineup would have gotten, like, historically, where they actually all played. Look at that. That's a nice one straight away. That's a nice one straight away. A tier 0. Like, you can tell if these guys play together, it's not looking too bad. It's actually really good to have these guys all in one lineup, and I reckon they will do even better than that. And of course, we also have the ability of putting in Hartmann, his super rare, which I'll think about where to put him into. If I feel extremely comfortable with Feyenoord's matchup, I think this is the way to go. Buy low Hansko, Zaruki, Vifa, and Santiago Jimenez, because Hansko is just extremely consistent. So even if someone gets injured, like Zaruki, for example, I can put in the main man, Hartmann, in here straight away. So that's a good thing. But now I can also utilize Kilinci Hartmann in my under 23 pro lineups as well. in my capped ones, in wherever he fits in, really. And all-star rare pro even. That is great to have that ability, and obviously the opportunity to put them all into all-star super rare lineup is something that excites me as well. But you can clearly tell I have been planning, I have been strategizing, and I've been following something right here that I'm extremely happy with. And I am still looking to possibly change one thing though. If I look at my midfielders, right, I feel like there are a couple of players that I feel very happy with. Now, obviously, with Arda Güler joining Real Madrid, no one really knows what's going to happen with him. Like, obviously, some people panic sold. I don't know why. I understand, but I wouldn't go this low. I understand that a lot of people don't expect him to get as much playtime as they think he should. Obviously, things are going to change. He's probably going to play in the right wing position as a backup to Rodrigo. If Rodrigo moves into the striker position, Arda Güler can slot in the right wing spot. When Benzema was injured, Rodrigo playing in a striker spot plenty of time. So if you guys don't know, like, I believe we can see it here as well. If we go into Rodrigo's SO5 scores and we look at center striker, is that? Yeah, there you go. So plenty of games where he played in a center striker position. Obviously, something that he can do, something that he's capable of, even though he's not the tallest of players. And I think if Rodrigo slots in at striker ahead of Joselu, which I think is going to be easy for him to do better than Joselu, no disrespect, I think Arda Güler could get playtime on the right wing. And I think especially on the weekends where they have Champions League games midweek, that's going to be a great opportunity to utilize Arda Güler. And I think he's going to do really well there. I don't necessarily think I'll be able to use Arda Güler every single game week, obviously. So I am already kind of thinking that that man right there will only be usable for like a maximum of like 8 to 15 game weeks throughout the upcoming season, depending on if I actually have the info that he's going to play. Whenever he plays, though, I think he's going to smash. So I'm very, very confident that long-term Arda Güler is going to be a great player to have. And I didn't necessarily get him for too much either. If we take a look at what I got him for at the time, what did I get him for? I got him for like 0.5 ETH. Interesting. It's basically the same price right now. So nothing's looking too bad at the moment. But again, going back to what I was saying earlier, if I look at my midfielders, I'm extremely happy with my super rares. Florentin, Getson Fernandez, Zaruki, Andre Almeida, Sven Mynans, Alex Garcia. We have some ridiculously good super rare midfielders right here that I can basically pop it into any lineup and feel comfortable with. If we look at the rare side of things, Kökçü is one that I feel very comfortable with. Vifa is another one where even with bad matchups, I can see him do well because of his great AA score. Julian Brandt is a good one, but something tells me that he's not going to be as good possibly, and I'm not going to be able to rely on him as much. I'm going to see it out with him at first because he's not that high in terms of value, unless I can put him into a trade to get like a legit top midfielder. But yeah, looking at that, Szymanski was an amazing option if he was to stay at Feyenoord. But if he goes to Feyenoord, I think he's going to be a great option still. I think at Fenerbahce, he can do really well. They've had a lot of left-footed 10s in the past, and all of them have done well. Alex de Souza, Arda Güler, and Szymanski could be that guy for them. So I can see him really pop off in terms of Challenger Europe. And then going down the list, McAllister obviously is going to be occupied with my Liverpool stack most of the time, so he's not going to be available in other lineups possibly. And then the rest I'm not necessarily too happy with either. So I'm looking at this and I'm realizing I probably need to get one more midfielder. So looking at the options right here, we can see that there are plenty of great midfield players like Bruno Fernandes. Depending on which striker Manchester United get, I think he's going to be insane. But obviously, he's way too overpriced right now. That's not something I'm necessarily interested in. If we go further down the list, Kimmich would be amazing, but I'm not going to spend that much on a rare card. Jude, I think he's going to have to rotate certain games. Sometimes he's going to be rested. I'm possibly looking into Rodrigo. And the reason behind Rodrigo specifically is because he is a very consistent, great scorer. If I could see the scores here, it seems like I have some internet issues. SO5 scores, there we go. So Rodrigo is a great scorer, as you guys can see right here. If we take away the substitutions and all that stuff, this is a player that most of the time can, even like these types of scores, he can give you those. With Guardiola coming into the Manchester City squad, hopefully they'll be doing even better defensively so you can get those great scores. If we go by Manchester City only, again, you can see some great scores on him. And I think Rodri is going to be an important player going into the next season. And he could be a very good option to get in terms of like stacking him together with Guardiola if it's necessary. That's going to be a good one for me. So Rodrigo is definitely on the list. KDB would be another one that I would be open to get. Obviously, KDB's price has been coming down, and at the same time, you have too many times where KDB sadly isn't in the lineup. Like, he's DMP, he's injured, and all that good stuff. Actually, for Manchester City, you can see here, yeah, there's a couple where you just don't feel comfortable. But were those to be expected? I guess they were, because they rested him when they had Champions League football. He played the weekend. He was rested. Champions League football he played, and then again on the weekend he was only subbed in. So I guess it is somewhat predictable when it comes to KDB's absence. Maybe I was kind of overestimating the DMPs here. Obviously, he has had a couple there, and previously, obviously, KDB has had periods where he was injured for a little bit of more of a prolonged time. I remember these types of areas too. So he's doing all right. He's 32 years old. He has some sort of injury I have no idea about. Before actually going ahead and trying to get him, I probably should read into that. But KDB, again, could be a great one to stack alongside Guardiola. I'm very, very open to that. I think Enzo is going to do a lot better, especially if Caicedo joins. It gives Enzo a lot more freedom. So I think Enzo is going to be great, but I don't feel comfortable spending that much on him yet because his scores on the higher end haven't been that great. He's just a consistent scorer. As a super rare, that's a great card. As a rare, probably not as much. You want to get someone that can give you those super high scores. Szoboszlai, as much as I love him for Liverpool, I don't expect him to be extremely consistent. There's going to be a lot of rotation in midfield, I reckon, and Szoboszlai is probably the first to get subbed off in terms of like the battle between him and McAllister. That's just my opinion. Højbjerg and Spurs, you don't want to touch that. Bukayo Saka as a midfield option, I don't like it. As a forward, it would be great. Ugarte at PSG could do a good job. I don't see him getting those super high scores, though. I see him being consistent and decent to not ruin your lineups, but not necessarily to win you the best rewards. I was thinking about Bourigeaud because Stade Rennes have been bringing in a lot of great players. And I think they're going to be a very tough team to handle in the upcoming season. Now, I am a bit worried, though. I mean, people are going mental with the pricing of this card. He should be a lot cheaper, obviously. People have been selling him for like 390 euros, which would be quite easy to pick him up there. And with Terrier coming back, with a lot of players coming in, Doku playing alongside them, if we look at their roster, I think we will have a couple of these confirmed transfers. The goalkeeper situation, I'm not too sure with. Alfred Gomez, I guess, could be playing. Where did that Turkish kid go? I don't know where the Turkish kid went, but Teate is a great option to have there. You also have other players like Bourigeaud. You have Blas, who has just joined them. You have Mayer, who probably will be leaving. A lot of Bundesliga teams are linked to him. In the other positions, you have Jeremy Doku. You have Terrier, who's going to come back from his injury. He was an amazing player. You have Juri, Kalimundo. Like, there are so many players to possibly stack him with. But I think the smartest thing to do for me personally at this moment in time would probably be to get one of the Manchester City boys. So next time you're watching my video, I probably will have Rodrigo or KDB. One of those two I'm going to try and target to bring into my squad. I think Rodrigo is probably a little bit more of the safer option, especially because he can get great scores with AA only. Let me see if KDB, how have his scores looked in terms of AA only? Has he had any of those dark greens? Oh, he has had an 81 with AA only. That is great. That's one score. Two scores in the last 6 months where he didn't have to rely on, where he relied on AA, I guess. But obviously, he can get those super high scores in the 80 to 100 ranges, which will get you the best rewards. But if you look at Rodri again, he can get those scores too. And he can be a little bit more consistent. He does have a little bit of these lower scores as well, which is something to think about. But I think Rodri could be quite interesting. Yeah, I'll make up my mind. But guys, some amazing deals have come through the gallery. We do have Zaruki. We do have Klinci Hartmann. And of course, oh, sorry, forgot about this one. I also got Blind. Let me show you why. Daley Blind has now officially signed with Girona, and you can see right here a lot of people have seen that, and they are expecting him to do really well there. I think Girona, if we look at their team, let's go over here. If we go into, what the hell is that? That's not what I wanted. Girona FC. There we go. So if we go into the formations, you guys can see that in this left centre-back position, there's quite a bit of rotation going on with David Lopez, who's 33. If you go further along, you can see Espinosa, who's 33 as well. But mainly, I think Bueno is the guy that is supposed to play in that right centre-back position. And if he does that, that means the left centre-back position will be open for Blind. Don't get me wrong, Blind is old too. He's not a young lad. But I think Blind is way better than Espinosa or whoever that other guy was, David Lopez. And if you pay attention to the scores of these guys, you can see that these guys are capable of the 60 pluses many, many times as well. And that's a really good thing. I really like that. And if you go into the specifics of these games, like against opponents where you think that Girona should be doing well, like against Osasuna, technically you would have thought that they do a little bit well. They have 63% possession. And with Ajax, possession play was key for Blind to do well. And I think a lot of the games that I'm looking at right here, where I think Girona should be dominating the ball, I think those are the matchups where I think Daley Blind and Alex Garcia are going to be extremely usable. 63% there once again. If we go further down against the likes of Valladolid, despite losing, you'll see that they had over 60% possession again. And when they have possession, I will have Daley Blind, I will have Alex Garcia, and those two are going to be very good players to have for either the Super Rare division or, of course, for Champion Europe Super Rare, Champion Europe Rare Pro, or All-Star Rare Pro. And again, we are stacking the players. We are putting them all into a proper strategy, and I feel very happy with how things are looking. Extremely satisfied with these signings, and I'm done now. Apart from that midfielder, I'm not going to sign any more players until my players are back to play. And talking about that, we can check out real quick my saved lineups. I think game week 390. Oh my god, is it 390? No, that's not the one. That was just me doing concepts. Game week 392. When am I back? Game week 393. There we go. So 393 will be back right now in the preliminary games in the friendly matchups for Anderlecht. Kozemans is playing in goal, so maybe he actually starts. He was expected to be the second goalkeeper. I wouldn't mind that because Verbruggen has left. Van Krombrugge is expected to leave as well. But I could have Barisic and Zvigala, who is doing amazing things right now for St. Pauli in the friendly matches, scoring goals for fun as a centre-back. Florentin is going to be back, which is amazing. We will have Gift Orban and Musa Ndiaye, or possibly any of these other players who can step up and play as well. But yeah, game week 393 seems to be the one where the first time I'm going to be back, and then 395... that's when things kind of heat up here, I believe. Do we have anyone else? We don't have anyone else there. So again, it's just one lineup. When is it? Is it 397? Yes, there we go. 397. Yep, that's where we start to put in multiple teams. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I really, really am. We obviously don't have Hilgers anymore, but we do have Hartmann. So we can take him out there. And let's put in Mr. Kökçü into this lineup, and that will look much better straight away. But yeah, excited for what's to come, guys. Hopefully everything makes sense that I've done for the gallery. If you guys have any feedback, let me know in the comments down below, especially considering the midfield options. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Take care and peace.